The group all looked outside of the safe room to see that they were in a terminal of an airport. "We're at the terminal of the airport. It looks like we're close to the airport," Bill said, as the group moved on. They spotted a boomer which was behind them. Of course, Sister shot the boomer. "Got him," Sister said. "Nice shot," Zoe replied as they were going through the offices of the terminal. Zoe was cramping, but she was moving a bit slow. "Do the boys know?" Sister asked. "It's something you shouldn't really tell guys, but they figured it out what's going on. Well, because Francis had a girlfriend before the infection. Lewis worked with a few girls before this happened, and Bill had a wife at this point while he was working in the army, so the boys will know what's going on with girls," Zoe replied. "Will I have a menstrual cycle as you do?" Sister asked. "Well, it doesn't work like that because bears are different compared to humans," Zoe replied as there was a van being moved and a horde of zombies was closing in on as the smoker grabbed Zoe and Sister was shooting at the smoker's tongue, which had broken. Of course, Zoe was stuck in the tongue. "Thanks, Sister," Zoe said as Sister helped Zoe get free from the smoker's tongue. "The path of the van made is clear," Francis called to the group, and they all walked through the luggage belt, and they were close to the plane's takeoff. "I see a safe house. We're getting close," he said as the group walked up the flight of stairs and a horde of zombies that each of them were gunned down one by one. As soon as the group made it into the safe room, Francis and Lewis, along with Zoe and Bill, shot down the remaining zombies that ran towards them before closing the safe room door. "That was amazing. I thought it was too easy," Brother said as Zoe sat down. "I think my arm hurts," Zoe groaned as she unzipped her sweater. "Why?" Sister asked as Zoe took off her red sweater. "Are you cramping still?" "No, it's not that, Sister. It's my arm that hurts a bit," Zoe replied. "When the smoker pulled me, I fell on my arm. I think I bruised it." Sister rolled up Zoe's sleeve to see a bruise on her arm. "Does it hurt when I press on it?" Sister asked as she pressed lightly on the bruised spot of her arm. "Ow! Ow! 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 Yes!" Zoe replied as she groaned in pain. Then Sister pulled down Zoe's sleeve of her shirt and then put a sweater back on. "It'll be fine." "I'm sorry for pressing on your bruised spot," Sister said. "It's okay, Sister. I know you didn't mean to," Zoe said as she gave Sister a hug. "There's Freddy," Brother pointed out from inside the safe room. "He's at the truck and he's still tied up." "Well, that's good and that he's okay. Now let's go save him," Bill said as the group walked out of the safe room. They looked over to see that there was a plane that crashed. "Holy crap! I didn't want to sign up for this." "Fred," Brother called as he ran towards Fred and a hunter pounced on Brother. "Help! Let me go!" Brother cried as Lewis shoved the hunter off of Brother as Francis killed the hunter. "You okay?" Francis asked Brother. "Yeah, thanks so much, Francis and Lewis," Brother replied as Bill, along with Zoe, Mama, and Papa, ran towards the group. "Fred, we're so glad you're okay," Sister said as she, along with Bill, untied Fred so he could be free. "How did you guys know where I was?" Fred asked as Bill pulled out a pair of glasses. "I found this somewhere, kiddo. I think these are yours," Bill replied as he handed Fred his glasses. "How are we getting out of here?" Sister asked as Zoe saw a plane that was parked and that flew over the greenhouse earlier. "We could use this plane to fly us out here." "Great idea. I love the sound of that," Papa Bear said as there was a voice coming from the walkie-talkie. Bill answered it, and there was a voice that replied back. "You'll have to gas up this plane so we could fly out of here. This truck will fill up this plane with gas, and it's going to attract the infected, so make sure you're all ready to fight them off. When you start pumping the gas into the plane," the pilot said as as everyone started to prepare themselves. "All loaded up and ready to go for the fight for the infected," Papa Bear said as he noticed his Brother Bear was a bit slow in getting ready. "Need help?" he asked. "No, I just need a bit of ammo will do it," Brother Bear said as he took some ammo, spilled a glass of water on Sister as her clothes were wet. "Brother, look what you did," Sister said angrily. "Sorry," Brother said. "You're such an a-hole effer," Sister said to Brother as Zoe was shocked but also angry along with the other adults in the group. "What?" "Don't say those words," Zoe said. "That's not nice, and those words can really hurt someone." "Well, but you guys swear," Sister protested. "Well, that doesn't matter. Those words cubs and children should never use just because they hear adults say them," Francis replied. "But I didn't mean to call him that," He knocked over a glass of water on me while I was getting enamel," Sister replied angrily. "That doesn't matter, Sister. You could really hurt someone if you say that language to someone else. Just because you hear me, Bill, Francis, or even Zoe say them, doesn't mean it's okay for you to say them," Lewis defended Francis. "But Zoe said them when she hurt herself. She was swearing," Sister said. "Neither of us gave a crap if you were the one who was an 18-year-old swearing," Bill replied as Zoe got in front of Bill. "You need to calm down. We can't deal with this right now. We need to get the plane gassed up so we can find Lizzie and stop that Witter Jones," Zoe said. After the group were all ready to fight off the hordes of the infected, Bill turned on the gas on the truck so the truck can start pumping up gas into the plane. The noise was so loud that it distracted a horde of zombies. They were able to gun them all down without anyone getting hurt, until Bill was pounced by the hunter, and no one had noticed but Sister. "Help! Bill's in trouble!" Sister called as Zoe ran towards Bill to save him. She shoved the hunter off of Bill before killing him, and then aided to Bill to save him. "It's all right, Bill. You're gonna be okay," Zoe replied, helping Bill up after shoving the hunter away from killing him. "Easy, easy," she said as Bill was back up. "I'm real hurt, real bad," Bill said as the tank was approaching that Zoe had to quickly heal Bill while Francis, Lewis, Mama, Papa, Fred, and Brother were all able to keep the tank away from them. "Hold on, this will only take a sec," Zoe said as she quickly healed Bill. She was feeling a lot better after Zoe healed him. "Thanks," he said. "No problem," Zoe replied as the two survivors along with Sister gunned down the tank. Then a smoker was going to go grab Zoe when Bill grabbed his tongue and then pulled the smoker and tied him until the smoker was turned into a ball. "Here, Sister, kick him as far as you can like a soccer ball. You said you were good," Bill said to Sister as he handed her a smoker ball. "Thanks, Bill. And you, Smoker, say hi to Witter Jones and your friends for us," Sister said as she kicked the smoker ball as far as she could and that it flew into the air until he disappeared. "Don't you ever bother us again," Sister waved as the plane was all gassed up. Another horde of infected was coming to the survivors as they were able to shoot them down while they ran towards the plane. Until everyone was inside, then the plane took off and all the infected were left behind. "That was close," Fred said. "You did well, Fred. We were even laughing when you were covering the tank's eyes when he was running around like if he was drunk," Francis said as he and Lewis started laughing. "We sure got out of there," Sister replied as the plane took off from the airport and everyone escaped and are safe for now. The group were on the plane and they were on their way to a farmhouse. "Where is the farmhouse?" Brother asked. "Well, here is the thing. When we get there, the plane is near that area. We'll jump down. Our parachutes will help us land safely," Bill said to Papa as he pulled out the map. "So we saved Freddy, so now we're heading to the farmhouse," Sister said. Meanwhile, at the farmhouse of Blood Harvest, Witter Jones was looking in her crystal ball. "Planning to save Lizzie, aren't we? Well, you're all in for a real treat. We'll have a surprise attack waiting for you at the farmhouse," Witter Jones cackled. "You're right, Bill. Once we reach the farmhouse, we'll save Lizzie and we'll get those bears back home to the world above them. Once we deal with Witter Jones, that wicked witch first, this plan will be easy," Zoe said as Witter Jones heard from her crystal ball. "Well, you guys want to go on another magic carpet-like ride?" Witter Jones cackled as she uses her magic to control the plane. "What's going on?" Papa asked as the plane started to be in control of something. "The plane is somehow moving by force. I can't stop it," the pilot said as the plane was starting to fly around. "Well, it's the Witter Jones witch again. She's making the plane move on itself," Lewis said as the plane swooped down into some trees and the group screamed when they disappeared from the plane into the woods. "Where are we?" Francis asked. "It looks like we're in the forest. It's dark and creepy looking," Fred said as they heard Sister struggling to get off from a burr bush. "Help, I'm stuck," she said as Zoe and Lewis pulled Sister out of the bush. Sister had burrs on the top of her fur and they needed to be cut off. "Oh my, Sister, you've got burrs in your fur," Mama said as Sister did notice but said nothing. "See?" Zoe said as she handed a mirror to Sister and looked herself in the mirror. She freaked out that she had burrs in her hair. "It's not that bad, Sister. I was like that when I was around maybe 6 or 7 years old. My dad and Mom had to cut my hair when I was like that," Zoe replied as she found a pair of scissors and used her sweater to place it around Sister. "What are you doing, Zoe?" Sister asked. I'll be cutting the burrs off of your fur, she replied. She was careful while removing her pink bow. Why do you have to take off my bow, Sister asked Zoe. So I can cut the burrs off without anything in my way, Zoe replied as she started to cut off the burrs. I'm going to look like a boy, Sister sighed sadly. No, you're not. It doesn't matter what you look like after a haircut, but you'll always be Sister Bear, Zoe replied as she cut the last burrs off without pulling her hair. That's the last of them, Zoe said as she handed Sister a mirror so she could see herself without burrs. But what about my ribbon? You'll have to wait until your fur grows back before we can put your ribbon back in, Zoe replied. But I look silly without my ribbon, Sister added. No, you don't. You're beautiful just the way you are, Zoe replied as she found a hat on a picnic table and handed it to Sister. The hat had pink one on it with purple on it. Here, it's a hat, Zoe said as Sister looked it in her hands. What if someone comes back? It'll be stealing the hat, Sister replied. It's not anyone else's now, Sister. It's yours, Zoe smiled. This is the woods, so Lizzie must be in the farmhouse. So how do we get to the farmhouse so we can teach Witter Jones a lesson? Lewis asked. The last thing I heard before Witter Jones made us disappear is that there's some sort of military outpost not far from here, Bill said, up along the train tracks. We just gotta find the train tracks and follow them. Yeah, let's do it, Zoe agreed as the group prepared themselves for the trip to the farmhouse where they'll save Lizzie and take care of Witter Jones and even get the bears home. The group started walking through the woods. It's scary, Mama said. As long as we stay together, we'll be fine, Lewis replied, as Papa looked behind the tree to see if anyone was following them. But there wasn't anyone. A bridge, we can cross this, Sister said, as she, along with the rest of the survivors, walked across the bridge. Whatever you do, Freddy, don't look down, Brother said, as the group made their way to the other side, as they saw the train yard. This train yard is creepy looking, Fred said, as he looked down to see nothing. That's because no one has worked there ever since the infection started, Lewis replied, as Zoe looked to see Sister. What's wrong? Zoe asked. I'm getting tired of walking, Zoe. We've been walking for a long time, Sister said, as a horde of infected were coming from the woods and started to attack the group. Luckily, the group was able to gun down the horde as they saw the safe room in the train yard station as the group went inside. We made it, Fred said as Zoe saw a clue. What is that? Sister asked as she pointed a bag full of Halloween candy. It's a bag of Halloween candy. It's a clue. This must tell us that we're heading the right way to save Lizzie at the farmhouse, Zoe said. Since Sister wants to rest for a bit, why don't we all have a break? We'll all head out once everyone's ready to go, Lewis said. After about an hour of relaxing, the group was all ready to head out again. They soon saw themselves at a train station. Let's see what's down here, Francis said to the group as they walked through the train station. It's quiet. Too quiet, Sister said as she and Brother looked around. Then Brother was in a vent. Hey, Sister, get Zoe in here. I think I found a shortcut, Brother called out as we walked towards Sister. What are you two cubs up to? Zoe asked. I think I found a shortcut, Brother replied. Bill, me, Sister, and Zoe are gonna go Sister are gonna go through the shortcut. Dad will take us right to the safe house. We'll meet you there. All right, said Zoe. All right, Zoe. We'll all go through this door and it sets off the alarm, Bill replied as Zoe went through the vent with Brother and Sister. The vent was almost squeezing Zoe tight enough that she could get stuck. There is an exit, Brother said as Zoe shot at the vent and Brother pushed the vent open. They all crawled out. That was a cool shortcut, Brother said as he heard a growling sound. What was that? Brother stayed close next to Zoe along with Sister. Is that a tank? A hunter? Sister asked as Zoe placed her hand on her stomach. That's just my stomach. I really hope we find food soon, Zoe replied. She, along with Brother and Sister, followed the train tracks that leads to the inside of the tunnel, so they could continue walking. As soon as they reached the safe house, they all ran inside. This safe house is safe, Sister said. I am hoping the group gets here okay, Brother said. Your monster costume's cool, Brother. I forgot to mention that when we saved you, Zoe smiled. Thanks, Zoe. It was no problem, Brother said. Suddenly the rest of the group were talking and walked inside the safe room. I see you guys got here okay, Mama said. Yeah, we did. We must be close to the farmhouse, Sister said, as all the group decided to rest for a while, to prepare themselves for when they were going back out again. The group stayed in the safe room for at least 45 minutes before they were able to move on. Once they prepared themselves to head out to the farmhouse, "The coast is clear," said Zoe as the group left the safe room and started to walk as they were shooting down the wandering zombies that happened to notice them. Then there was crying. "That sounds like a witch." Zoe warned everyone in the group that there was a witch nearby. "Turn your flashlights off," she whispered as everyone saw the witch, and they began to walk slowly past her when she started to growl, then groan, and then started to groan loudly. "Don't piss off the witch," Zoe said as she was nervous that someone might startle her. But luckily, no one startled her and they walked back her. Of course, that was too close. That witch was very mean, scary monster, Papa said as they saw a building up ahead. "This is something I don't see every day, a building that is abandoned looking," Mama said to the group as they walked up to the old building. Francis opened the door and it was very quiet. "Look at it, no one's here," Francis chuckled. "It is very old and creepy looking," Fred said as Francis led up to the group inside the building. There are train tracks through this door," Lewis said as he opened the door. He and Zoe shot down the wandering zombies around them. The group then saw a bridge that there was a way to get up there. "There is a bridge. If only we could find a way up there," Bill said. "There's a train cart with brakes on it. So if we pull the brakes off of the train cart, it will knock down the bridge and we'll have a way up there," Brother said. "Good idea, Brother. But the only thing that will happen is that the noise of the bridge coming down and the train cart making it crash will attract the horde. So we'll have to make sure everyone's ready," Lewis replied as the group all prepared themselves as Brother pulled the brakes off the train and the cart started to move. A loud shriek was heard and that caused the horde of zombies to run towards the survivors. "Here they come," Zoe warned the group as everyone stayed together and they were shooting the zombies down. When all of a sudden a tank showed up after all the zombies were shot down. "Tank!" Zoe shouted as the group started to run and shoot at the tank. "Hey tank, over here!" Brother Bear said as he stood on the bridge as he was knocked down by the tank as the tank ran towards Brother. The rest of the group fired at the tank until he was dead, which he didn't make it to Brother on the bridge. "You okay?" Zoe asked Brother as she was reloading her weapon along with the rest of the group. "Yeah, I distracted him so you can shoot him," Brother smiled. "Smart plan, Brother. Why didn't I think of that?" Papa asked as the group walked up towards the bridge that had a train cart knocked down. Of course, after the group got inside the safe house, they decided to rest for a while. After about 6.5 hours went by, Sister woke up from her nap, along with Brother, Fred, to find out that Papa was gone. She walked towards Zoe, who was napping with the rest of the group. "Zoe?" Sister whispered, but Zoe was in a deep sleep. "Zoe!" Sister said a bit louder. Then there was an air horn that Bill took from Too Tall and his gang, No Good Gang. Then Zoe scared them off back at the safe house from before the boathouse. Then Sister blew the air horn, which woke everyone up. The survivors were all startled, and the same with Brother, Mama, and Fred. "For Christ's sake, Sister, why did you blow that air horn in our ears?" Bill asked as Sister had the air horn behind her back. "Sorry, I was trying to wake you all up," Sister said. "Papa's missing," she said. "What? How is Papa? Now Papa is missing? I sure hope Witter Jones didn't kidnap him," Lewis said. "Sorry for the air horn," she said as Zoe took the air horn away. "If I find Too Tall and gang, I'll blow this air horn in their ears and see how they like it," Zoe said as she heard Too Tall and his gang talking about how much I will scare them. Zoe giggled as she crouched down behind the safe room exit door, put the air horn close to their ears, and looked up at the group. "Plug your ears, it's gonna get loud," Zoe whispered as everyone did what they were told, and Zoe blew the air horn loudly near Too Tall and his gang. "Ah!" His gang then screamed, "What the hell is that? It's hurting our ears and making them bleed!" Too Tall then screamed with his gang along they ran away from the noise of the air horn. Zoe laughed and soon everyone else joined her in the laughing. "Oh my god, they're such wussies," Francis laughed. "Good way to scare them off, Zoe," Lewis added. "I think you're more scarier than Witter Jones and the zombies," Sister laughed. "Wait till they get scared by Bill someday. He's good at scaring people as much as me," Zoe replied as Lewis checked to make sure that the coast was clear. Once the coast was clear, the group started to head out to find Papa. "Papa, where are you?" Brother called as he and Sister, along with Zoe, saw an old barn ahead of them. They walked inside and found nothing useful, and they didn't find where Papa went. They continued to walk through the woods until they found a creepy old train station. There's a train station. If we follow the train tracks, we might find Papa, Brother said. I sure hope he's okay, Mama said, as the group jumped down and followed the train tracks. They passed by a couple of infected, such as a boomer, smoker, and a hunter, which they shot down without a problem. Even a few wandering zombies they also shot down. They also saw that the train has crashed and blocked the train tracks. They saw a house that they can get through. We can get through that house. We just gotta get up to the second floor or third floor, and then we'll get onto the roof and go around the blockage, Zoe said, as she and the group walked inside. Once they got onto the third roof, the farmhouse should be across this bridge, Zoe said, as everyone walked down from the roof of the house, and they saw Papa at the front of the foggy bridge. Papa, you're okay, Brother said. Hey, Cubs, I found the safe house on the train cart, and it's on this bridge, so it should lead us to the farmhouse, Papa said as he started to walk until the tank appeared. Yike! It's a tank! Papa screamed, and as he ran and jumped into Mama's arms, the group started to shoot down the tank. After a couple of minutes, the group was able to shoot down the tank without a problem. That was close, Zoe sighed as the group walked across the bridge and jumped inside the safe house as in the train cart. They soon looked and exited out of the room to see a hunter. Zoe killed a hunter before opening the door to push over the dead body away. After that was finished, they have decided that they would prepare themselves to move on when they were ready.